We
Okay.
can go through some of the nifty stocks and I can show you what my process is.
Oh, that would be great. That's like a golden opportunity for me. So would you like to do that now?
And whenever we could do that now, if you want, we can talk about some more US stocks or whatever you have time for.
Yeah, so we'd love to know more about US markets because this is something which we have started learning. So some specifics about US stocks, particularly the big ones like the Alphabets and the Teslas of the world, and then we go to Indian stocks.
Okay, perfect. So we'll start with US stocks and I'll walk you through some of my basic process. So we'll start with, bear with me just for a second. So probably the easiest way for me to do it, and I've set these screeners up, but the first thing that I do is, so this is my core ETF list, and I've got about 40 core ETFs that I follow, major ETFs in the indices and what have you. So the first thing that I look for is which sectors are leading and which sectors are weak. And I did the same thing with the nifty stocks tonight. But the first thing that I will do is I'll sort my group by relative strength. So what this tells me right now is that the energy sector, Dow Jones Industrials, the industrial sector, healthcare sector, staples and financials, these are the strongest right now. And then I can go all the way down the list, and then it will take me to the weakest: emerging markets, communication services. So the first thing that I like to do, whether I'm sorting through a sector or I'm sorting through individual stocks, is I want to sort by relative strength.
So the relative strength, sorry to disturb you in the middle. The relative strength in this case is RSI 14, which is the usual thing which all of us use, right?
Correct.
Okay. So any stock with a very high RSI is strong, and any stock with a low RSI is weak. That's what you use.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly. And what I want to find is I want to find the strongest groups, and then I want to look for the strongest stocks inside the strongest group. So I can dive into energy, and we can see obviously very, very strong uptrend. Energy's been the leading sector all year. Now, it did have a couple shakeouts. It had a very, very sharp drawdown in June. It had another recent sharp drawdown, but the energy sector by far is the strongest sector in the US markets right now. And we could take any of the major energy stocks. This is Exxon. But what I'll do is, once I identify the strongest sector, is then I'll run my scan of the large cap stocks. I'll do it the exact same way: relative strength first, and it will list for me all of the top stocks. And then I just put my oscillator over the top of it, and then it'll help me find the stock. So the other day when I ran the screener, Oxy came up, Occidental, because it was in the price base, just ready to break out. Ideally, what I like to do is get into a position when it's in the price base before it's fully broken out. And then if I get the signal, I'll take that position. So a lot of the stocks are extended right now. To give you an idea, the healthcare sector is very, very strong. So this is Merck, one of the largest pharmaceutical companies. But at this point where it is on the chart, it's too far extended for me to take a new position. So obviously the ideal entry point would be somewhere in here before the breakout. But I don't have a position here because Merck just reported earnings today. And I generally try not to take a position 10 days, within 10 days of earnings, because it can just be so volatile. If I was a short-term trader, 1 day, 2 day holding period, then the earnings wouldn't matter to me. But because I'm looking to get into a longer term trend, it's important that I get in after earnings when I can.
Sure. So that means you are going to see all the stocks in that ETF or sector and whichever you find is giving you better risk reward, maybe you'll make an attempt there, right?
Correct.
All right. And when you make an attempt, would you like to build your position if your attempt is correct, or you just take position once and then forget about it?
In a normal, stable, uptrending market like we've had most of the time, I'll take my entire position at one time.
Okay.
In this market, which has been extremely volatile, can be a 2% pullback in the index any single day. What I've been doing is I've been building my positions. So, for example, I recently started buying the S&P 500, and I bought that over 3 or 4 different sessions, trying to get it on a pullback. But in this market, I've been going smaller positions, but more frequent buys. And for example, I bought stocks 5 or 6 days in a row over the past week, but it was very small, couple percent here, couple percent there, trying to take advantage of the pullbacks. Now, there haven't been too many pullbacks. So luckily, though, I did some buying, because if I just waited for the big pullback, there hadn't been one until tonight.